Yo everybody, I've been trying to do a lot of farming today, to work on Ray and all. So I needed these gems, right? I figured this would be a great time to do what I think is probably the best farming setup to run with Robin for any new player, a low power account. This is how you're going to maximize on resources even if you don't have like decked out characters. In fact, Robin being kind of weak actually helps you out. We'll take a look here real quick. This Robin only has 72 of his abilities unlocked. He's equipped with the Paladin Bow to get the highest crit possible with his basic attack. You want to use your basic attack because you're going to get the most amount of hits in with the least amount of damage in order to proc critical. And that's going to help you get extort, and you want extort on everything. The Deadly Choker helps with crit, and the Rabbit gives you another small chance to pretty much steal an item. He has this armor to bring himself back to life, just in case things start to go wrong a little bit. And his stats are extremely low. He's rocking a 679 attack. He does have a really high crit. I showed you his equipment. And I pretty much just have critical on him. He has darkness for some reason, whatever. He's only at 40 SC. Notice I don't have any attack up. I only have crit, illusion, things that are going to help me survive. In fact, here I'll put guard up. Any sort of defensive abilities that's just going to help this guy survive. I have skill charge and quick charge. That is just for crowd control, to have something in your skill kit to move the enemies together. So then you can start dropping basic attacks on them, because pretty much this guy has a really high crit with his basic attack because of the bow he's using, and it does low damage. The other character that's here is this girl. She's not built at all. She's a low level. She is just carrying the arc for me so I can throw this at the very end at the Hobgoblin bosses in hopes of getting some items. So this girl doesn't even have any spells. She doesn't have anything equipped but armor, and she just has like hit points on her. She just pretty much needs to stand there and stay out of the way. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna have to sacrifice some lapis to make this video, so I better make this count. But really, I think this is one of the things that's going to help a new account out the most, figuring out the most efficient way to get these gems. Here's where I use that skill charge to group everybody together and just start doing basic attacks. Of course, this girl back here is hardly doing any damage at all. She can die in the first wave. It doesn't really matter. In fact, I don't really expect for her to live. I'll be honest with you guys, I have a plan to bring her back to life at the very end, so she can drop her arc. That's kind of how I have this set up. You want to bring the weakest companion possible if you are running this build. Again, you could just run Robin by himself. Just make sure he has some sort of way to come back to life in case something happens. But then his crit wouldn't be that high, because I wouldn't be able to have the bow arc on him, and I wouldn't be scoring crits left and right. So I can group these guys together and just kind of start doing attacks on all of them. I really want to stay away from actually using my skills, because I'm going to kill them faster. And as you can tell, my little Sorceress Bay over here really isn't doing anything. She kind of tied one of them up a little bit. Sure, she took some of his health bar away, but I still had a pretty fair chance to score extort on that guy, and that's really what you want. She actually kind of can help at the end too, because she can take some aggro off of you with the bosses at the end, because obviously you don't clear these levels unless you kill the boss at the end too, or you don't get any of the stuff that you were trying to grind. So you want someone that's barely strong enough just to pull some aggro away from your rogue and let your rogue keep doing his job, which is throwing basic attacks with a high crit. See, she's already at half health. So, and if she dies, it's okay, because like I said, I'll bring her back to life just for a second to be able to throw her arc. So I would prefer to run you know, a very low attack Lance Evil or like a tanky character. But I kind of brought this girl along just to show you guys that it's kind of possible with anybody. The important thing is, like I said, that she's not doing that much damage. Oh, and that sucks. I let this whole crowd get away from me. There we go. And back to basic attacks as much as possible. Also, it's important when you're running like this, because each match kind of takes a little bit of time. Keep an eye on your buffs. If your character's critical buff runs out, make sure to cast crit on yourself. You want every single one of your basic attacks to count and get as much crit in as you can. And that's pretty much the best way to go here. When we get to the very end, here we go. Looks like the girl made it all the way to the end, so that's pretty cool. I'll drop Beast Hunter with her. Now, I want to group these guys together. And with the Hobgoblins, it's pretty easy. You just make one of them chase you over to the other one. And here we go. We start with the basic attacks, as many as possible. She's alright for this because she just kind of helps keep them pinned up against the wall while doing minimum damage to them. With the second character's help, it's also easier to, you know, cast critical on yourself in case you have to. See that one of them tried to get away and she kind of pushed him back. You got crit up, and there you go. Unless you really start seeing an issue with them like almost killing you, don't use your skills at all. Unless you see Extort proc twice. After that, you're not going to get any more out of these characters. Let's see, yeah, I did throw the Beast Hunter arc. Wanted to make sure I did that. Yeah, after you see Extort proc twice, then you can go ahead and start dropping skills and just finish these guys off because you're not going to get anything else out of it. Oh, here we go. We ran into worst case scenario. So this can happen. Look at that. I'm going to use some skills to get my health back up. But one of them managed to stun me for a second. Okay, they killed the girl. So here's the thing. Remember I was talking about zombie builds? It's a good idea to have one here. And Robin does. If this Robin dies, he is going to be able to come back to life once, maybe even twice. One from an ability and once from the armor that he's wearing. So, all in all, it's not too bad. If I can get these guys cornered and just start doing basic attacks, I can win this very easily. Now, my crit did go down. I'm going to have to cast crit because I haven't really been paying attention to see if I actually scored extorts or not. But I'm going to fight this one through to the end and show you guys how to do it. So, I got knocked back. Go in there, drop a skill just to get crowd control. Pin them up against that wall and go right back to basic attacks. And hopefully we can get plenty of gold chests because that's what your boy needs. Right? His S2 has a higher chance of scoring a crit when you're using a skill, but it does more damage. See what I mean? But you can use them to group them up together. The thing is, you're better off using basic attacks because you use those skills a couple of times, these guys would have already been dead. So I'm getting all these extra crits in right now with basic attacks, and that's just that many more chances to steal items from them. And like I said, all in all, you could run this with a Robin solo and just make him as weak as possible because it's all about perseverance here, baby. And it pays off, though. It really pays off. These orbs are rare, especially for free-to-play players that you don't want to waste lapis on getting more orbs, and sometimes you really want to build a character. And if you want the most bang for your speckle, then obviously just bring a solo character or two of them if you have to. The least amount of power that you need to bring, the better. So we got 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, and this one actually was kind of short. We only got 18 items. I'm usually getting about, 23, 25, something like that when I'm running this method. Obviously, if you have 2 rogues, you can do a lot more things if you have Zox to run with your rogue. But if you just have Robin, this is a pretty good haul, especially for a low-powered account, maybe somebody that rolled a new account. I was not getting runs like this, when my account was pretty much brand new, and I could have been. So I just wanted to like share some knowledge with anybody out there that's struggling to get like 20 drops every single time they're running, and you're wasting orbs and you don't feel like you're progressing with your character building fast enough. This might just help you, right? It takes some very basic things to do. It's low powered characters. I've also been thinking a couple times it's been brought up to use dual wield and put 2 weapons on to increase your crit. The thing is, all of that favors using skills, and even if you're not using skills and you're using a basic attack, because you have 2 weapons on, your attack's going to be higher. You're still going to kill your enemy faster, even though you're doing 2 attacks at a time. You're doing more damage. So with one single weapon, you're still going to be able to get more attacks in before that enemy dies, because he's going to die twice as slow if you don't have dual wield. Plus, not everybody has dual wield. You kind of have to grind that out, and you have to have the arc to do it. So all in all, I think this is the more patient approach, and I think it does pay off more than actually running dual wield. Even if you can get a pretty decent crit off of having 2 crit weapons, you know, one gives you 5 or 10% crit, the other one gives you 5. You can have 15% crit just off your weapons. Remember, you're still rocking 2 weapons, and they both have an attack value, right? With one weapon, I can run around with a high crit and only have a 50 attack value. And it's not like these fights are hard. Like, this is a very underpowered Robin with like under 40 SC that he's rocking, and he pretty much cleared this thing himself. Also, this Robin's his attack stat is nowhere near pumped out. In an old video, I actually went into his stats. I did not get a bunch of the upgrades for his strength, and this is why, because this is the level that I'm grinding out the most, and any more strength to this Robin would actually hurt me when it comes to grinding this, because I'd be killing everything faster. So when you're talking about just, you know, a couple 100 points of strength making a huge difference, then having 2 weapons, you know, and some of those weapons that have a good crit on them, they're like 100 attack weapons, right? So it's like, that's me shaving off 150 attack off of my character. That's a big deal, right? And it might take you a little bit longer because you're only getting half the crits at a time, but you're also getting less than half of the damage at a time too. So if you really look at it in the long run, you're still going to get more hits in before your enemy dies because you're doing less damage single wielding. It's just going to take you twice as much time to get those hits in and do that damage, but you're still going to be better off, and you're still going to get a higher chance of actually getting extort to proc. But hey, you know, if you don't want to be as absolutely efficient as possible, and you know, you're cool with running dual wield, doing more damage, maybe getting less crits overall, but getting it done faster, and I'm sure you're still going to get a decent amount of drops, but it could be the difference between getting, you know, 15 drops or 20. To some players that's not really going to matter, but to some players that's definitely going to matter, because these orbs are limited, and you absolutely need this stuff to build awesome new characters, and that's what we're here to do, right? And like I said, this is probably going to affect more free-to-play players the most. Honestly, I hate spending lapis on these orbs too. I really do. So to me, honestly, it's worth taking the time to do it. And look, I even managed to get one of the red crisps that I needed. I need these clusters, these especially. Seems like every awesome character has like a ton of abilities that require 7 of these, sometimes even more, and those are always the best abilities. Obviously right now I'm working on Ray, so I need a few more of these and I can start getting some of his good abilities. By the way, I'm going to do a video pretty soon, pretty much on Ray, and actually talking about why he's such an effing monster. I was a little inconsistent when I was looking at his arc and kind of talking about him back then. I've reevaluated my opinion after actually spending time with him and running him, trying different builds on him, putting different gear on him, I actually really see now why he's so effing nasty. So we'll talk about that, and you know, there's more stuff to come. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. You made it this far into the video. Thanks for all the support, guys. I will talk to you soon. Feel free to leave any comments. I'm sure some people will. They'll want to, you know, hey, if you're all about running dual wield on rogues and stuff like that, like, more power to you. I just really did the math today and sat down and really thought about this. The fact of the matter is, you are going to get more hits before the enemy actually dies, you know, and you're going to get more crits before the enemy actually dies. It's going to take you twice as long, but this is technically the most efficient way to do it if you really think about it like that. So, like I said, anybody wants to talk about this, comments are open. They always are for you guys. I love my subs. You guys are the bomb, and I hope you all have an awesome night. Peace.